You already know what we do. Aswand Cruickshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. All right, so here we go. Be careful with who you associate yourself with. Be careful with who you associate yourself with. I mean this from the heart. I have been burnt by this very, very concept all too often. All right, here's an example. We are approaching the 10-year mark of my time when I was in Ocean City, broke, homeless, lost everything because I tried to start a minor league football team named the Ocean City Sharks. I've written about it in 2 of my books that are currently out, and there's information about all that. We can dive into the details on a later date, or you can go and listen to some of my previous work to hear the details about how I ended up in that situation. I'm not blaming anybody but Aswand Cruickshank. It was my fault that I was in that situation, all right? There was a gym owner by the name of Tony Hall, all right? Now, initially, I'd gone around Ocean City, and I was just asking people, what they would think about the idea. I'm thinking about doing this, thinking about just kind of putting some feelers out there. And the person I kept getting referred to is Tony Hall. Tony Hall, who owned a gym out there in Ocean City, and the reason I kept getting referred to him is because he had previously started I don't want to call it very successful, but at least he had started a league in the same type of way, and people knew him as that guy that was starting the leagues and was kind of basically saying the same things I was saying. I was just putting more of a marketing, I had more of a marketing mind to do that, right? So naturally, because especially since he owned a gym, I latched onto him. I was going around telling people, I'm working with Tony to build this league, build this team, not this league, but this franchise named the Ocean City Sharks. Had the logos, had everything set, right? Had everything set. Now, long story short, I ended up burnt because I started promising players the money to play for the team, and I didn't even have enough money to pay myself. I lost everything. I lost my car, I lost my phone. I had no income at all, but I had that much confidence in the idea that money was going to come in, and it didn't. So I ended up getting looked at like the scam artist, and still people to this day look at me like, if you're talking about that specific time, people to this day will look at me like will forever look at me like I'm a scam, some sort of a scam artist or whatever. Which is, it's fair. It's just part of the game, right? Now, as the dust started to settle, on this idea, I remember I had a phone call with a guy who had previously worked with Tony Hall with this same league that people were thinking of when I would mention my idea and things like that. And you know what he said to me over the phone? We were sort of at the end. I was sort of at the end of my rope again. I had nothing. I was, listen, I was on the phone with him from my home phone in Silver Spring. It was just a mess. I was in such a mess financially that, again, this was kind of that last call to see if we could get this thing pumping. And you know what he said to me? He said, look, if you were going around telling people you were working with Tony Hall, it probably left a bad taste in people's mouth. And they probably, that just mentioning his name or anything associated with this kind of stuff probably made them say, look, I ain't rolling with this guy. Now, understand, love Tony Hall. I do. I appreciate him because at that time, him and his wife gave me a ton of advice. They were business owners at this gym, and they let me shower there and all kinds of things. They looked out and they supported. So at the end of the day, I'm not throwing any shade at Tony at all when it comes to this. But what I am emphasizing, what I'm telling you through that is, here was this great idea for the Ocean City Sharks. Great idea, nothing wrong with the idea. Simply got associated with the wrong person, and money didn't change hands. That's it. It didn't work out because the person who came up with the idea, me, went and associated with the wrong person, and all of a sudden the shit just came crashing down. And I got burnt because of it. It's funny to think about it too, because there were players telling me I sold them a dream, and she was like, how much fucking money did I make from the sale? Aswand was the one making all the fucking sacrifices. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. I'll dive into that more. If you are listening to this on the Move Swiftly podcast, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the follow button. They come out new episodes 5 days a week. Also, if you have not yet heard about the Move Swiftly podcast, find it, subscribe to it. It's just a ton of fire coming your way every single day. Also, makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. You can purchase all the books. I dive deeper into the whole Ocean City Sharks story and pretty much all the books I've put out. And also on that same website, it's Plus LY merch. Make sure you purchase a copy, not purchase a copy, but purchase all the Plus LY merch as humanly possible. All the money is going to be reinvested in the community and given back and constantly trying to give back and create opportunities for businesses and things like that. Which leads me into the most important thing, which is my ROI hiring seminars. Make sure you inquire about those. They happen at the end of every single month. And the Move Swiftly workshops, in which we take the right employer and merge that right employer with the right employee and make magic happen. Allow them to move swiftly, all right? Allow them to move swiftly in a world that moves very swiftly. So you got to learn how to move swiftly in a world that moves very swiftly, all right? Aswand Cruickshank checking out, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.